Hello, Chem students. We are looking at a handout that I normally pass out during the gas law unit entitled A Real Gas. We know that we've talked a lot about an ideal gas and what's required for an ideal gas. That's on the next slide. But in an ideal gas, we expect that the gas particles have negligible volume and have no interactions between themselves. So what I have here is a picture with actual gas molecules right here. And these gas molecules are exerting interaction on each other. They exert some interaction when they hit the walls of the container. And because of those interactions, the pressure in a real gas is actually lower. The other assumption that the gas particles have negligible volume for a real gas is also not true. So these particles actually do have volume, and so we have to accommodate for that as well. So the volumes of the gas molecules is significant. So we come back to the van der Waals equation for a real gas. If you look at it, it's PV equals nRT, but we have two terms here. Because the pressure of a real gas is actually lower than an ideal gas, we have to add a term to compensate for the lower pressure in order to make it like a real gas. Likewise, because the volume of a real gas is actually larger, we need to subtract off a term to make that real gas more like an ideal gas. So we have to modify the ideal gas law using the van der Waals equations and the variables A and B, which are experimentally determined and usually found in a big chart in the textbook. So if we consider conditions that favor an ideal gas, we would imagine that high temperature and low pressure are the best conditions. High temperature keeps the particles moving quickly, and by moving quickly, there's less time for interactions. And also the idea of low pressure, which means there will be fewer of those gas molecules in there affecting, again, the intermolecular forces. So high temperature and low pressure are necessary for an ideal gas. If we think about the gases that would be most ideal, we would probably think of, say, helium. Helium is very small, has very few electrons, and therefore has only dispersion forces, and would have very weak dispersion forces. So helium would be one of the most ideal gases. On the other hand, if we think about N2, N2 is nonpolar, but it does have a lot of electrons, so it's going to have some dispersion forces as well, and they would be stronger than those of helium, so N2 would be a less ideal gas. And finally, if we think about, for instance, ammonia gas, ammonia obviously is larger, but it also has a permanent dipole, so it has dipole-dipole interactions, and it is polar due to the lone pair, and it also has a special case of potentially hydrogen bonding, so it has some strong intermolecular forces, and therefore would make it even less ideal than nitrogen. So the stronger the intermolecular forces within the gas, the less ideal that gas is going to be. So I hope this helps. Again, the purpose of the van der Waals equation is to show you what modifications to the ideal gas law that must be made in order to turn a real gas into an ideal gas. Hope that helps. Hello, AP students. Back to kinetic molecular theory. Just should be mostly a review, but it is very important, and you'll see lots of questions on this. The kinetic molecular theory of gases, often we refer to as KMT, says that a gas is composed of molecules that are separated from each other by distances far greater than their own dimensions. They are considered to be points. In other words, they have negligible volume. Do not fall for the idea that they do not have mass. This is one of those tricky places they like to catch you. They do possess mass, but are considered to have no volume. Gas molecules are in constant motion in random directions. Have no idea why this arrow is here. And they have collisions that are perfectly elastic among themselves and with the sides of the container. A perfectly elastic collision means that there's no loss of energy upon the collision. Gas molecules exert neither attractive nor repulsive forces on one another. In other words, no interactions of any kind, no IMFs allowed in an ideal gas. Another important idea is that the average kinetic energy of the molecules is proportional to the temperature of the gas in Kelvin. Remember, Kelvin. Any two gases at the same temperature will have the same average kinetic energy. This is very important. It does not mean they have the same velocity. That's another place they will try to catch you. Not same velocity. If you recall, Ke equals 1/2 mv squared. If the temperatures are the same, the kinetic energies are the same, but the masses, the molecules with the larger masses are going to move more slowly than those molecules with smaller masses. So be careful of that one too. So this, again, important stuff. It'll definitely show up in the multiple choice questions. And that's it for the kinetic molecular theory of gases.